I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because they kind of retcon the whole thing.
Yeah.
When Brad Pitt is kicking the Manson family's ass, it's the best. That's awesome.
Such a fun movie.
It's super bloody and gross. Yeah.
But like over the top.
Yes.
Have you ever done like Tarantino movies, Mary? Because I know you.
Not all of them. I've seen Pulp Fiction. I think I saw Diamond Dogs like forever. They're all
Reservoir
really
Dogs.
long. Oh yeah, Reservoir
Not
Dogs.
Ted Lasso.
They're just all really long.
Yes.
That's the thing. Django was great.
Gwen and I went to go see The Hateful Eight when she was pregnant, I think, and she fell asleep like immediately. She's like, God, this movie. I'm like, well, I like Tarantino.
That lady went to jail in 76.
71. She was convicted.
Imagine the difference in life. Going into jail in 1971 and coming out in 2023. Just the sheer amount of technology and like that would be. I wonder, like, you know.
Well, I mean, she hasn't been in a box. I mean, she
doesn't have a smartphone. She doesn't have the internet.
I don't know.
The internet was not around in 1971.
No, but I bet she has it now. I mean, I think that.
They don't have internet in your prison cell?
In the library? No, in the prison library? I bet they do.
I don't know that you're allowed to surf the internet in jail. Maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe good behavior. You're allowed to be online or something.
It's probably
also,
really
sitting at a
limited,
desktop in it. Like it's not like what we're used
it's
to.
Not
where
on
we
your
have
phone.
A supercomputer in our hand all the time.
Everything's blocked probably on the desktop in the prison library.
I don't even know what you would be able to access from a prison library.
And I could be way off, but it seems to me that every time we talk to people who've been in prison, they go, oh, yeah, we have this and this and this. People putting phones on their asses. So I assume a lot of people have phones in there.
Depending on how you are, if you're, if you're good, you get rewards and stuff like that. But just everything about your life is completely different.
Yes.
Ring doorbell. Think about that. A video camera doorbell.
Yeah.
Little inventions like the fact that no one has a house phone, you know?
Right.
Like, that's crazy. It's going to be so hard to adjust.
But again, you've been in there.
Did she kill someone?
I don't.
She just like was conspiratorial in it?
Yeah. I don't remember who killed. Because Charles Manson never killed anybody.
Right. That's why he was just a mastermind.
Yeah. Who were the killers for Charles Manson? Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten. Okay.
Oh, she did. Okay. Well,
Killed 7 people. Linda Kasabian was the one who flipped on all of them. And
then she deserves to not understand a Ring doorbell.
Charles Manson, the son of Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, Tarantino movies I like, and of course he's making news again because he says that like Ryan Reynolds movies don't exist. Because he always said that he would quit after 10 movies. And he seems to be holding to that. He's got one coming next year, and then he says he's out. And I think it's probably a combination of he doesn't really need to do it. The business has changed so much, he's just getting crusty about it. I can fully understand if you're a longtime director and you're like, I don't want to put my heart, blood, sweat, and tears into something that's going to be on Netflix with 4,000 other movies. Like, these are people who got into filmmaking because they love going to movies. And I can't imagine anybody who kind of exemplifies that more than Quentin Tarantino. So, but like, I still haven't seen the Grindhouse movies.
Really?
There's Planet Terror and Death Proof. Yeah, I just never, because everybody's like, oh, one's so much better than the other, but there seems to be no consensus
I liked them
on
both.
Really?
And I had a good time when I went and saw them. I mean, it's definitely not a normal Quentin Tarantino experience seeing that movie.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny.
I thought he just did one of them, didn't he?
He did one of them, and then Robert Rodriguez,
his
one was the Planet Terror one, and that one was a good time too. And they were short. They were both, I think, like 80 minutes long. So they just kind of flew by. And you got what's her face with a machine gun leg? Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
Love that.
If only she'd been able to use that on Marilyn Manson. Mm-hmm. But I liked Inglourious Bastards. I like Django. Kill Bill's great. Dusk Till Dawn. Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown rules.
Love Jackie Brown. I wasn't like a big Kill Bill guy.
I love Kill Bill too.
They're fine, but I saw them once and that was fine.
Kill Bill was one that, like, the first one came out when I was in the Philippines, and so I watched it on like this little tiny TV when I wasn't supposed to be watching movies, and loved that. And then when they released the volume 2, I got to see that in the theater in America, and I was so pumped for that. And I was just, it was one of the first movies I saw when I got home. So I was just happy to be in that experience.
If you've ever seen they do a lot of stand-up shows, but bands and things too. If you've ever seen a show at the Vic Theater in Chicago, they do a thing called the Bruin View. I don't know if they still do it. It might have been a casualty of COVID, but they do a thing at the called the Bruin View where they have like all their bars are open and they're just showing movies on the screen. And a girl I was dating at the time when Pulp Fiction was out, we went to the Bruin View and saw Pulp Fiction, and we were blazed out of our gourds watching Pulp Fiction. And it was years later, I'm like, I got to watch Pulp Fiction again because I remember it, but I need like a baseline of if it's as good as I think it is.
That Taylor Swift amnesia.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're all, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a lot of fun.
That one was so much fun. Inglourious Bastards rules.
Yeah.
I think his movies are very, very fun. Inglourious Bastards, I saw on opening night with a full theater, and the thing about his movies is they're comedies. They're very funny,
right,
for the most part. Especially like Inglourious Bastards is hilarious. Pulp Fiction's a comedy, like that's hysterical. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has a ton of like laugh out loud moments, and so does the Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. Well, in Inglourious Bastards, Eli Roth, who's a director, but he played the bear Jew, the guy with the baseball bat, and it was originally, Tarantino wanted it to be David Schwimmer, I remember reading, and he didn't want to do it or couldn't do it or something, and he was like, all right, so, I mean, Eli Roth is just a fellow director, and so he put him in it, but I think the story was supposed to be Schwimmer. I'm like, that would have been interesting. But Diane Kruger's Foxy and Christoph Waltz, that's the first time people saw him. Yeah.
Because in Django, he's fantastic too. And again,
which one is he in that?
He's the
main dude, like the
bounty
German
hunter.
the German guy. Did anybody watch The Consultant?
Is that wait?
It's the Amazon Prime show that he did. Like I think it dropped a few months ago.
No.
I didn't hear anybody talking about that. I thought it was awesome.
I never hear it. Well, you know, being the hipster TV watcher that you are.
No, it's I don't have a secret back door to these streaming services. I'm watching the same. I have access to the same thing everybody else does. All right, fine. Well, check out The Consultant. Tell me if you like it.
Brian was watching some weird Nicolas Cage cowboy movie last night. God, what was
Nicolas Cage at any given time has about 5 movies out, so it's hard to nail him down. Oh, I know what you're talking about, though.
What was it?
It was the
Old Way.
Yeah, The Old Way. I heard that kind of stunk, though.
He was asleep in an hour.
I still haven't seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I love that. I thought that was a really
It's got
fun one.
1.5 stars.
Yeah, I heard it kind of stunk. Well, because that's the thing. Nicolas Cage does so many movies that you're like, the same guy is choosing all these scripts. And some of them are awesome. Like he did a movie called Pig. I don't know if people saw it. But
Brian saw that. It's about a truffle pig.
Dynamite.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It's so stupid. It's John Wick with a pig.
I thought it was great.
They steal his pig and he goes on a killing spree.
I thought it was great.
I mean, it was fine.
It's one of my favorite episodes of Community is where they have to decide whether, like Abed takes this film class on Nicolas Cage, and you have to decide whether he's good or bad. And he can't figure it out because some of his movies he's excellent, and other movies are just so terrible and so weird, and some of the choices he makes, and it just it drives him insane.
I don't care what Nicolas Cage ever does again. Mandy, for me, gives him a free pass to do whatever. He's got Mandy
rules
under his belt, and that for me is
Mandy. The first time I watched it, I was kind of like I was in also a weird place in my life, so I wasn't all the way there. But then I watched it again. I was like, okay, this movie's great. I love it.
That's just a movie I could watch on a loop. I love that movie so much.
Have you seen that one, Mary?
No.
Watch Mandy.
Brian has seen it.
I bet you'd hate Mandy.
He went on a Nicolas Cage, like a couple months ago. He went on like a Nicolas Cage spree. He watched the Willy Wonka one. No, Willy Wonder's Place.
Yeah.
What is that called? Willy's Wonder House?
Something like
Willy's
that.
Wonderland, I think.
Something like that. He watched that one. He watched the pig one. He watched Mandy.
He's watching all the newer Nick Cage stuff. I always like going back and watching
Willy's
Face
Wonderland,
Off and
I like National Treasure.
The Rock.
Big fan of National Treasure. and Con
Yeah,
Air.
we just watched those a couple months ago with our
They're
daughter.
fun.
Yeah,
Very
they were.
fun.
I had never seen them, and Gwen was like, "We should watch National Treasure." I'm like, "Okay." I'd never seen. They're Disney movies. I mean, yeah, they're fun. I rewatched Knowing. Love that movie.
Never seen that one.
Renfield is streaming now. I
I
forget
wanna
about
see that.
Renfield.
I want to
I
watch
heard that
that.
was really good. Yeah.
Anyway, Nicolas Cage is an actor
Yes, he is.
who has done a lot of films. But Leslie Van Houten, they're saying, for now, the California Parole Board has recommended that maybe they can let her out. And that as a woman in her 70s, maybe she won't kill any more people. So we'll see what happens there.
I mean, that's a big bet to take, right? Like you gotta
I
hope.
mean,
Yeah, we hope she's not gonna not a guarantee. Like, hey, we're gonna let her out because she's not gonna kill any more people.
Right.
But it'd be like if we feel like she's not gonna kill any more people.
but it would also be different of all of these women who, and again, I don't know which ones are still alive, but it would be different if they all, to this day, still pledged their undying allegiance to Charles Manson.
They probably
That would be different.
do.
No.
You think they were deprogrammed inside?
They were all high, like they were, or whatever the free love, combination of free love and drugs and Manson just finding easily manipulatable people, right? You figure 2 weeks of being in prison and they were like, oh my God, what did I do? And then they're in there for 50 years. If these people came out and they were like, we still love Charlie, boy, that would be.
We're Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. I mean, that's maintaining a connection from beyond the grave. But I bet you 1 month into these prison stints, they were like, I have ruined my life. Charles Manson is a moron.
That was dumb.
Yeah, why did I do that?
Oopsie.
Yeah, I really got worked up over all that stuff. It was pretty stupid.
Because probably for a while, you think you can hang your hat on maybe an insanity plea. And again, I don't know chapter and verse of that whole Charles Manson thing. I just remember my mom talking about it because Sharon Tate was so beautiful. And she
Was
was
she an actress or something?
She
Yeah.
was. She
Okay.
was married to Roman Polanski. She was pregnant when they killed her.
Oh,
But she
what
got
did they do with the baby?
she got
Also died, I believe.
yeah, the lion's share of the attention because she was kind of an actress on the rise. But a lot of other people got killed. 7 people got killed. There was a Polish artist, Wojciech Wachowski, he got killed. Laurel Canyon and La Bianca, the neighbors, the whole thing. They really went around. But Sharon, and that's when Roman Polanski kind of decamped to Europe. That and the whole raping a 13-year-old in a hot tub, I mean, that'll get you too. But the post-Manson murders, he was like, I got to get the hell out of here. But my mom was, Sharon Tate was so lovely. She's beautiful. I'm like, what was your favorite Sharon Tate movie? Nobody knows a movie Sharon Tate was in. She was famous for getting murdered by the Manson family. But she was an actress on the rise, I guess, too. So that's got to count for something. Everybody's on the rise at some point. Did Mary watch the new season of I Think You Should Leave?
Absolutely not.
That's the best show you can watch.
Banned in my household.
I will tell you.
Oh, here we
Richard
go.
I got home
It's
last
actually pretty good. That's pretty fun show.
I got home last night and turned it on. And I was like,
Hey, come on back to the right side,
no.
baby.
It hasn't hooked me yet.
It
The
won't.
whole like,
Don't waste your time.
I have everything on my phone. I'm like, okay, all right, you got me. But then like again and again, I know that the whole point is he just hammers it into the ground, and sometimes that's funny. That was not hitting me
Is
last
it?
night.
Oh
I
man,
was
that
like,
one I love that one because when he's like, my mom got robbed. They're like, your mom's texting that she got robbed. No, the guys are texting her. They got her tied up with an apple. I thought it was hysterical.
I
And
mean,
then,
I'll go through them, but that first one, I was like, man, this is not hitting me.
what about the
Right.
dating show with the
Nope.
here for the zip line?
No, I mean,
So
it's not hitting me yet.
funny.
Color Out of Space. That's another great Nick Cage sci-fi movie. It's an old Lovecraft book. That was the last movie I saw at Tower City before they shut it down. It was me and 2 other people on a Sunday watching Color Out of Space. As the sirens pierce the downtown Cleveland air, I have to take a break. If you want to get the last word in, send me a text,